Well, here we go. The corn's in the ground. We're gonna give you some tips on some bean planting and hopefully talk about population and some herbicides. Deer season 24, we're rolling.
There's no secret that deer love legumes, and probably our favorite go-to product is clover, and we're gonna do a full episode of deer season 24 about clover and how to optimize it and you know, perhaps put it into your hunting arsenal. Well, if you have the means and you wanna take legumes to the next level, you might consider a soybean planting if you have the room, if you have the means, or perhaps you buy back some crop from a farmer, or perhaps you ask a farmer to help you put it in. Beans are just unbelievable when it comes to palatability in the summer, and then when they defoliate, they might not have quite as much palatability, although the variety we're planting from Nutrien has been really good all the way through the season. But you get into the late season, add snow to the equation, and they're just the ultimate. But there's some tips and some things you need to do if you go that level, some mistakes we've made and the corrections to those mistakes. We're gonna talk about all those in this episode, and then we're gonna go into a deer that we're specifically targeting, and hopefully this Nutrien bean planting can lead us to a success this fall.
All right, here we go. We are planting soybeans. We got a dry window, and fast forward a few days, Friday, I believe, we've got a big rain coming. So we're trying to get everything in the ground now so that come Friday, that rain, we take as much benefit from it as we can. But we're gonna roll. I got the PH Outdoors G8 drill here in Missouri. This is a no-till drill that we use a lot, whether soybeans, green fields, radishes, clover, whatever you want. It's got a gate setting and a clutch setting. So you set two different things for whatever seed that you want to plant. I even know guys that block off certain rows and plant corn with it. So it's kind of an all-around tool that'll plant your plots in kind of any condition that you want, whether you've got work dirt, you can adjust the depth on the backs of the closing wheels to go into work dirt, or for what we like to do, a lot of no-till stuff to prevent erosion, you can set them to 2-inch. So that closing wheel can drive down and press that seed into a no-till ground. So the G8 from PH Outdoors, it's a hard tool to beat. Get them rolling and get them going, and hopefully the rain gives us what we need to get them out of the ground. Us food plot farmers, we don't have those fancy augers to set our beans on to auger into our drills. We got to do it manual. So I'm here today, not Wade. There's a reason for that. So we're gonna plant a Dynagrow extended flex bean. It's an S25 XF64. So this is a fast maturing bean. That way, when you get to season, whether that's September 15th here in Missouri or October 1st in a lot of other Midwestern states, you get that green to green transfer. This bean's gonna defoliate and change quicker than your normal ag bean out in an ag field. So instead of having a big green field of beans, we want our beans to defoliate quickly so that they're on our clover fields, our radish fields, the new green fields that we plant for them to be in within bow range. So that's something to think about when you're planting bean plots. When we're doing these no-till bean fields, we run our population a little higher than most people would think that you should, because we're combating deer pressure. You know, we might have only a 2-acre field of beans, or even smaller in some instances, and we run that population 190, 200, sometimes over 200,000 in those drills for no-till practices to compete the deer pressure. As they're browsing, we have more plants there for them to eat, which allows our beans to get above the browse pressure and to still have groceries there in the fall to hunt over. We come through with the G8 drill, G5 drill, and no-till the beans in, and then within that week or the week after, we come through with a herbicide regimen and burn those weeds off. This helps with erosion mainly, and also less work of the field, working up the dirt, you know, we can come through on a one pass with planting the beans with no-till, and then a one pass with spraying, and we have a beautiful lush bean field. Once we do our herbicide regimen and burn these weeds down, we look at our soil samples that we took from last fall, talk to our friends over at Nutrien, figure out what we need and what we need where. Whether that's dry fertilizer we can put on these beans to get what we need, or a liquid solution of fertilizer on these beans, we figure out from those soil samples taken with our friends over at Nutrien, figure out what we're missing and what we need to put on and go get it done.
This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
So I just finished this field behind me with the G8 drill from PH Outdoors. I got the depth set at 1 inch for those beans sitting just under soil layer, and we've got rain forecasted on DeerCast coming later this week, so they should be perfectly set and covered up to get enough moisture they need to come sprouting out of the ground. And also the soil conditions right now are very, very good. Our topsoil's got just enough moisture for this drill to cut in very well and get to the correct depth for the bean seeds. So we're gonna roll a couple more fields here in Missouri and be done with the bean planting. Well, all the beans are in the ground, we're all planted, and some of them are actually coming out of the ground and growing. We put in a bean plot there in Missouri for a particular deer, a broken G410 that Austin and I encountered deer season 23. He came into a bean field that was there, and we specifically put this bean field back to the same variety of beans and in the same spot to hopefully catch up to that deer come deer season 24. So this particular deer, the broken G410, who showed up, and we only had a couple of trail cam pictures of him late October into early November, and I think he came for those beans. And this is a deer that we have gotten pictures of, but not a lot of pictures of, and something we rely on a lot is trail camera history and deer being creatures of habit, and history repeats itself with a lot of those mature deer. Maybe it's a deer that you have on your farm, or it's a deer we have on our farms, but if you have trail cam history of these deer through the years, and if you can keep that crop rotation the same, they might come back at the same time frame you had them the year prior for the same reasons. Also allows you to go back and look and hopefully put you in the right spot, or ourselves in the right spot when we're hunting our farms, to go back and look, this deer was on this bean field at October whatever, late in the season, and we can go back and say, oh, we put beans there again. Hopefully he was going to come back for these beans at the same time frame, and hopefully that ends up being the same case with this G410, and we can put an arrow through him.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by DeerCast, the most advanced deer movement predictor ever.